It's winter at the family farm. The hills and meadows are silent and still, covered in white frost. Everything was quiet. Except for a very strange noise that seemed to come from the machine shed. "What's that noise?" asked the dust spreader. "What noise? I don't hear anything," said Tommy the trailer calmly. "What do you mean you don't hear anything? It sounds like maracas. How can I relax with such noise?" exclaimed the dust spreader. Oh, it's my teeth. They are chattering," confessed Tec, "and I can't stop them." "Your teeth?" "My teeth don't chatter," said the dust spreader. "Nor do mine," boasted Tommy the trailer. But it's cold and I don't have a cab to keep me warm," complained Tec as he drove out of the shed. He wanted to get away from the grumpy machines. "Perhaps if I move about a bit, I'll get warmer," thought Tec. But as soon as he left the shed, the cold wind whipped across him, and his teeth chattered even more noisily than before. "It's so cold," moaned Tec as he drove around trying to keep warm. The animals were lucky. They were all cozy inside. Nobody should be outside in weather like this. But someone else was out and about in the cold. Someone wearing a hood pulled tightly down over her eyes. How could she see where she was going? She couldn't. That was a close call for Tec. "Tec, what are you doing out in this cold weather?" asked Molly. "Molly, oh, it's you. I didn't recognize you with your hood over your face." "I'm just going to fetch coal from the coal shed," said Molly. "You should go back to the tractor shed, Tec. It's far too cold for you to be out here." After she'd filled the coal bucket, Molly rushed back to the house to warm herself in front of the fire. But Tec didn't want to go back to the shed. There he would have to listen to the tractors complaining and making fun of him. So he kept on driving, trying to warm up. As Tec drove past the cowshed, he saw his reflection in a mirror. His nose was purple. "Freezing frosticles! I must be really cold to have a purple nose," he sighed. Then Tec had an idea. He knew how to warm up. He'd visit the animals. They would give him enough heat to keep him warm. So Tec rolled across the farmyard, around the corner, and over to the sheep. "How are you, Tec?" bleated Serena. "Oh, fine, thank you, Serena, but I'm rather cold." "Cold? Surely you're not cold." Serena was surprised. "Yes, I am," said Tec. "That's why I'm wandering all over the farmyard. I'm trying to keep warm." "You know what you need, don't you? A woolen fleece like mine. There's nothing warmer than wool." "A woolen fleece?" asked Tec. "Of course. Wool is perfect for cold weather like this. Why don't you ask Molly if she has some wool left over from last year's shearing?" Tec's eyes opened very wide. Imagine him dressed in a woolly fleece. Yes, he quite liked the sound of it. He'd certainly be warm, but what if the wool made him itchy or got caught in his wheels? Maybe it wasn't such a good idea. Better keep moving. Moving around is definitely the best way for Tec to keep warm. So off he went to find the hens. How do they keep warm in such frigid cold weather? "Hello, Winnie. Hello, Cluck. Hello, everyone." "Bark!
You're looking very cold today, Tec. Bark!
Cackled Cluck. Yes, I am. Aren't you feeling cold too? Wondered Tec.
Oh, no, not really. Bark!
Clucked Nancy.
We're lucky, aren't we, girls? We've got nice warm feather coats. Yes, lucky indeed. Bark! Warm feather coats. Would you like us to gather some feathers to make you a warm feather coat?
A feather coat for me? Said Tec. Although it was a wonderful idea, Tec thought that somehow a feather coat wouldn't be quite right for him. And anyway, feathers made him sneeze. Achoo! Thanks very much for the idea, girls, but I'll be fine as long as I keep moving, said Tec. And off he drove before his wheels could get cold again. Tec wondered how Nell the sheepdog kept warm in such cold weather. Hello, Nell, said Tec. I thought you might be huddling in your hut, nice and cozy and out of the cold.
Ruh! Me? Huddling away from the cold? Said Nell. I've got thick fur to keep me warm. I'll go in my hut later. If it gets too cold, it's warmer in there.
Ooh, I wish I had thick fur like you. Then my nose wouldn't be purple from this cold, and I wouldn't have to drive around to keep warm, said Tec.
You need a cab, Tec, a cab like the ones big tractors have. Then you'd stay warm, said Nell.
Tec liked talking to Nell, but his wheels were getting quite cold just standing there talking. So off he went once again. Tec was tired. He'd been running around and around all day. Perhaps I should go back to the machine shed, he said. But he wasn't looking forward to it. He knew what the other tractor would say. Tommy the trailer and the dust spreader would laugh at him and call him Tec the purple-nosed tractor. They would tease him. Just as Tec was about to turn towards the machine shed, he heard someone calling him. It was Molly. She was standing outside the house and waving her arms like a windmill. What's the matter? Wondered Tec. He drove over to her at once. By the time Tec reached Molly, she had hooked the trailer onto the back of the car. Where are you going on such a cold day? Asked Tec. Molly had no time to explain. After all, it was far too cold to stand around chatting. Tec drove onto the trailer in a jiffy. Molly jumped into the car and off they went. The biting wind froze Tec's lights and stung his face. He was too cold even to toot his horn. Where was Molly taking him? At last, the car slowed down and stopped. Freezing frosticles! Thank goodness for that! Exclaimed Tec, as his teeth chattered some more. Come on, said Molly. The little tractor was glad to turn his wheels so that they would warm up. Good afternoon, Molly, said the garage owner. Good afternoon. This is Tec. Tec looked around nervously. This is the place that sells tractors, he said. Surely Molly wasn't going to sell him, was she? Molly, you're not going to sell me, are you? He asked in a trembling voice. Sell you, Tec? How could you think of such a thing? Laughed Molly. The trick is to find one that's small enough to fit him, said the man as he grabbed a frame with a window in it. A cab! Yelled Tec in excitement. It's a cab! Well, after I saw you shivering out there in the cold this morning, I called the garage, said Molly. I thought that it was time for you to have a cab to keep you warm. Let's see if this fits you, said the man. He placed the cab on Tec. Well, you look warmer now, Tec. Yes, it's a perfect fit, said Molly. We'll take it. This cab will keep you warm, Tec, said Molly happily. Then Molly noticed that Tec's nose had changed color. It was red again. After paying for Tec's new cab, Molly and Tec said goodbye. Goodbye, said Molly. Goodbye, beep beep, tooted Tec in his new cozy cab. The ride home with his new cab was wonderful. Tec didn't feel cold at all, not one little bit, and he tooted his horn happily at everyone who could see his shiny red nose. Beep beep!